Andee Joos is our next student. Andee attends Baxter Community School and lives in Mingo. She is a daughter of Sharice and Kevin Joos. The title of her project is Accelerate Food Rescue in My Community.
Good afternoon. My name is Andee Joos, and I am very excited to share this with you. I'm just going to ask you to bear with me a little bit. I have a cold. So my project was called Working to End Food Insecurity, Continuing a Hoover Legacy. So my presentation summary, it's going to begin with me talking about Hoover and why my presentation connects with Hoover. And then I'm going to talk about my original project proposal, my Plan B, my Plan C, and my future plans and goals. So Hoover Legacy, I'm sure a lot of you guys already know this as we're in the Hoover Presidential Museum. Hoover organized the Committee for the Relief of Belgium during World War I, saving thousands from starvation. He appointed the head of the U.S. Food Administration, the guided food conservation and efforts to feed America's allies during World War I, and he led the European Relief and Rehabilitation Administration after the war. So my project is kind of similar to what Hoover did just because we both have a passion for food insecurity. I've been doing crop walks, which I'll talk about a little bit later, since freshman year, and food insecurity is just a big part and a passion for me. Everybody needs to eat food, and unfortunately there are a lot of people in this world that don't have enough food, and I really want to improve that because it's a basic need. So my goal for my project was to partner with the Food Bank of Iowa in the Altoona, Iowa HY-VEE, where I work, to expand the recovery of surplus food near the end of life. So surplus food would be things such as like damaged goods, damaged boxes, produce that may have bruises or maybe have a little bit of brown, bakery items that may be past the sell-by date, just things that at your house you would normally eat, but that grocery stores don't necessarily want to sell. Things that are perfectly eatable, but just not maybe peak condition. So my first step was to go to a Mason City HY-VEE, and this HY-VEE was pretty much the pinnacle of what I wanted my HY-VEE to be. They donated a lot of their damaged foods and their maybe not sellable foods to their local food bank. So that man right there is a guy named Al Bach, and he was a store manager, and he also was the guy that partnered with this food bank. So I was able to drive up to Mason City and discuss with him how he was able to successfully donate all this food and how to improve that connection between the store and the food pantry. So my proposal was to implement that Mason City Food Rescue Program into Altoona. However, when I presented this to my Altoona management, they were not willing to cooperate with me, and unfortunately they declined my attempt to be able to rescue some of their food. So that was very upsetting to me because this was my project. This was what I was passionate about. So I had to be pretty resourceful, and I didn't want to give up, you know. So I met with my Iowa Food Bank coordinator, Stephen, and I asked him, Stephen, I want to help, but my project wasn't as successful as I would like. What would I want to do? I wanted to still help because food insecurity was such a big passion of mine. So my plan B was to go a little bit more local. So I would upgrade my town, Baxter, their food pantry. So these are just pictures of the Baxter food pantry, and I wanted the food pantry to partner with the Food Bank of Iowa. So the benefits of partnering with the Food Bank of Iowa would that the food costs are 14 cents a pound. So that includes any meat, any produce, any dairy, anything is all 14 cents a pound. And that is incredibly inexpensive, and that would save so much money for the food bank. And it would also give them a consistent supply. They would be able to help more people. However, the food bank must register as a nonprofit organization, and they must have daily business hours, which unfortunately mine did not. My town was only about 1,000 people, So there wasn't a large enough need for daily business hours, so it was by appointment only, which you can see that's actually hanging on the door of the food pantry. And so due to that and the restrictions, we were not able to allow Baxter to partner with the Food Bank of Iowa. In the future, that would be a great thing, and maybe in the future I would hope to work with them a little bit more, but right now there just wasn't a need for it, which is a good thing because that means that not many people in my community need the food bank. So Plan C. So I met with Stephen again, and I said, Stephen, could you please help me and come up with another way that I can help some people? So he told me about a Carlisle food bank, and it was in the Carlisle High School. They operated 1 day a week, and they were stocked using private donations. However, there wasn't a lot of food variety, and it wasn't well stocked. They were able to help some people, but not to the efficiency that they would like. So I wanted to work with the Fairway in Carlisle, and they were going to donate some produce and some damaged goods and just help this food pantry become more efficient, be able to help more people. So I talked to this Fairway, and they were very willing, which was wonderful. They would save the nourishing food that is being thrown away. There's so much food waste that is thrown away. So my goal was to improve the food variety and accessibility to the food insecure students. These were high school students just like me, and be able to maintain the public access for after school hours. That was really important to me because I wanted these high school students and even middle school and elementary to be able to bring food to their family and to not have to worry about being hungry at night. So I confirmed the participation by Fairway. I met with the Carlisle High School guidance counselor, and we set up new school pantry hours that would be longer running, and it would be a couple days a week instead of just one. And we were also hoping that we would get enough food where we would be able to give these students more food, especially like over the weekend, so they would have weekend food, not just nightly food. And right now we are working on arranging for transportation of these rescued food items. So in the coming weeks, I'm going to talk to Fairway and some local Carlisle churches and some local Carlisle businesses to ask them if they would be willing to transfer this food from the Fairway to the school a couple days a week. And the overall goal is to open a new and improved pantry. Right now we're working on it, so this is still a deal that's still going to go on. I'm hoping that we can open it in the next month or two, for sure. And I really just am looking forward to being able to have these students that I don't know, but be able to help them. Herbert Hoover helped these kids in Belgium, for example. He didn't know them, but he understood that they needed help. And that is the same type of thing that I'm looking for. I just want to help people, and I want to give them the basic necessities that they need. So my future plan is to complete the Carlisle High School food pantry. Like I said, I'm hoping to do that in a month or two, and I am so excited about that. And I'm also organizing our 4th annual Baxter Crop Walk, which is actually next weekend. So a crop walk is a walk that I do every year around October, and it helps my local food pantry. So it's the Church World Organization is the crop part of it, and we just walk around our town and our school, and then 25% of the donations go right back to my food pantry. And then I'm also going to UNI next fall, and I'm going to do a lot of community service there. So this is just a few pictures of the crop walks of the last few years. I've had a lot of fun with it, and every year we get about $1,000 to about $1,500 in donations. So over time, that's definitely helped my food bank a lot. And I just wanted to leave you guys with a quote from Herbert Hoover, and I thought that it was a great quote. Being a politician is a poor profession. Being a public servant is a noble one. And I truly believe that that is what Herbert Hoover was all about. He wanted to help these children and these people with food insecurity, and I hope to do that as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much. The model of the high school pantry, I think, is really interesting because some food pantries in communities, there are transportation issues for families to get there. But if you've got high school students at a high school and the pantry's right there, do you have any thoughts or ideas of expanding that model into other high schools?
Yeah, that would be a great idea. I could even try to do that with my high school. I'm not sure how many students at my own high school that would be a good thing for, especially for the elementary. That might help. And yeah, that would be a great idea, especially in Des Moines where food insecurity is a larger issue. I'm definitely going to continue working with the food bank and seeing what else I can do and what else I can help with.
I was just going to commend you on being persistent, and a lot of people would have given up after hearing no from one place, and hopefully you can take some of those ideas that work with Fairway, maybe take them to other Fairway or HY-VEEs or other stores.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Andy.
Thank you.
Yeah.